Hello everyone, welcome back. It's pretty late, but we do have another NHL trade to discuss. The Chicago Blackhawks and Vancouver Canucks have made a trade. We'll discuss the details of this deal coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at the Internet Talking channel. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe down below. Think about your support we're able to without you guys, so if you haven't already, don't forget the subscribe button down below. Don't forget to leave a comment down in the comment section below so we can discuss today's video. Now we've had a big trade to go down today. It's not a huge one, but it's a significant one. It's going to help the Canucks try and sign Guentzel most likely, or one of the other big time pending UFAs. And the trade is as follows. The Vancouver Canucks have acquired the Chicago Blackhawks 2027 4th round pick from the Chicago Blackhawks in exchange for the signing rights to forward Sam Lafferty, Ilya Mikheyev with 15% of his contract retained, so that's $713,000 retained, so at a $4.037 million cap hit, and the Vancouver Canucks 2027 second round pick. So it's a decent trade for both sides. We'll go to the Canucks side first. There's been a lot of talk over the past while that they were going to be trying to look to move Ilya Mikheyev. He does indeed get moved, so it's a smart move there for the Canucks to wind up moving Mikheyev. He did not work out overly well last past year. Didn't really show up in the playoffs either. Couldn't really find his game, so they move on from him, which is really good. They also move on from Sam Lafferty, who was a guy who I thought was probably not going to be back with the Canucks anyways, so they move his signing rights. They also do have to give up a 27 second round pick, which is a pretty high pick, but they get a 27 4th round pick in return, so they do move down 2 rounds and get the Blackhawks 2027 4th round pick, but that pick is 3 years into the future, so the Canucks could probably care less at this point in time, but they're able to get rid of Mikheyev, move on from Lafferty. It also saves them $4 million in cap space, so this move is going to be a huge one for the Canucks because it's going to give them the ability to either go another run at trying to re-sign one of Dakota Joshua or Elias Lindholm or Nikita Zadorov, or go in free agency and try to sign a guy who they've been linked to over the past while, like Tyler Toffoli or Jake Guentzel. So it's a smart move there for the Canucks. They have to give up a pick in the future. That's a pretty high pick, but they do that with the ability to move off $4 million and be able to potentially be a big player in free agency, try and get a solid top 6 forward or try and retain one of their pending UFAs. So we'll have to wait and see on what happens there. But for the Canucks side of things, move down a couple of rounds in the 2027 draft, and they move on from Ilya Mikheyev and Sam Lafferty. So it's a pretty good move there for the Canucks. Meanwhile, for the Blackhawks, it's a decent move for them too. They're able to move up 2 rounds in the 2027 draft, so they'll move on from their 4th round pick in 2027 and get the Canucks 2027 second round pick. So I don't know exactly where it's going to be. That's 3 years down the road. At that point, the Blackhawks might be a playoff team. The Canucks might be a team who's on the bubble, so not exactly sure how high that pick will be, but they do get a second round pick for taking this on, which is a pretty good deal for the Blackhawks. They also get Sam Lafferty. He's going back to Chicago, at least for right now, with his signing rights. No guarantee that he's going to be signed. He's a UFA, so there's a very likely chance he potentially goes to free agency, but he does have experience being in Chicago. I think he played there not this past year, but the year prior. He spent a little bit of time there, was dealt to Toronto as part of the Jake McCabe deal. That sent Jake McCabe to Toronto. Lafferty went to Toronto too. He was the odd man out in Toronto this past year when the Leafs had a cap crunch, so they moved him to Vancouver. Well, it actually did pretty well this past year, putting up some pretty big goals for the Vancouver Canucks, but he was never going to be able to extend in Vancouver, so he goes to Chicago. Not sure if he'll hit free agency or if he'll re-sign Chicago. I could see him sign maybe like a 1 to 2 year deal with the AV of like $1.5 to $2 million, a little bit of an overpayment to try and keep him around, as Lafferty is a really good bottom 6 forward. So not exactly sure what sort of route this will go for the Chicago Blackhawks and Lafferty, but that's a pretty good pickup there for the Blackhawks. And they also got Ilya Mikheyev. Now this is a pretty good pickup there for the Blackhawks. Mikheyev just over $4 million after the retention by the Canucks, so it's a pretty good pickup there for the Blackhawks. Mikheyev, I think, is still a really good speedy winger. If you can find his form from the past couple of years when he was in Toronto, he could be a really good fit there. And he sort of fits the mold of what the Blackhawks are trying to look for. Players who are on sort of 2 year deals, who are more veteran players, who can sort of help round out that team right now. I mean, they just signed Foligno to a 2 year deal, Dickinson to a 2 year deal, Mrazek to a 2 year deal. It seems that they're trying to sort of do something like that right now, try and get some players on 2 year deals to sort of help them through the next couple of years while they're continuing in this rebuild phase. So that's a pretty good pickup there for the Hawks, and if Mikheyev can show any signs of what he was in Toronto, that could be a really good pickup there for the Hawks. So this is a really good trade for both sides. In my opinion, the Hawks do win this deal because they are able to get a second round pick, even though it's 3 years down the road, and get a couple of solid forwards, one in Mikheyev, who should be a solid middle 6 forward for them, and one in Lafferty, who's a really good bottom 6 forward, who may stay or may not stay, and they only give up a 4th round pick to do so. So I do like this deal for the Blackhawks side, and it's going to give them Mikheyev for the next couple of years, potentially Lafferty, and they get another draft pick in a couple of years' time. Meanwhile, for the Canucks, they do give up a 2nd round pick. They at least get a 4th round pick in the same draft back in return, so that's pretty good for them. And they're also able to clear $4 million off their cap space in order to go after another player in free agency like a Guentzel or Toffoli, or try and go after one of their big pending UFAs like a Zadorov or Lindholm or Joshua. So I like this deal for both sides. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this deal down in the comment section below. Who do you think wins? Is it the Canucks? Is it the Hawks? Is it a win-win deal? Love to hear your guys' thoughts on this deal. Plus, what do you think is coming next for both these teams as we near the draft? And don't forget to stay tuned for my live draft video at 4 p.m. Pacific time on Friday, at 8:15 a.m. Pacific time on Saturday, and in the morning on Monday for free agency. Definitely love to hear your thoughts on all of that down in the comment section below. So I'm going to talk about for today. I'm going to like this video. And if you're liking it, subscribe down below. Thank you for your support. We're nearly without you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Don't forget to leave a comment down in the comment section below so we can all discuss today's video. I also have a blog talking about news, rumors, analysis, stuff like that. So if you check that out, leave a link in the description below. And I can't wait to see you guys all for next video. See you guys soon.